Hello, Paul here from Switched On, and today I'm reviewing Devil Engine, which is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up that hit the store recently. Now, the Nintendo Switch is already home to some absolutely brilliant, mind-melting hardcore shoot 'em ups, or shmups if you want to be slightly wacky, from classic Japanese bullet hells like Ikaruga, all the way up to modern interpretations of the genre like Graceful Explosion Machine. In fact, why not check out my top 5 shoot 'em ups in this week's top 5 video, which will be online tomorrow. A little plug there. Now, Devil Engine was developed by Protoculture Games and published by DANGEN Entertainment, and is the latest shoot 'em up to grace our beloved console, and is a love letter to those classic R-Type inspired side-scrolling shoot 'em ups from the 32-bit era, although Thunder Force is the old school series it really draws from. Now, the story in this game is pretty non-existent, and sees you flying your alien ship, the Andraste, against hordes of enemy attackers that are apparently from Earth, according to the blurb on the Protoculture website. Anyway, you're flying across 6 different stages, and complete with mid and end level boss battles. Your ship has access to 3 different sorts of weapons to help you in this task. And these are activated by picking up orbs that drop from slain enemies. And picking up an orb grants you the weapon of that type. And in a helpful touch, your ship actually changes to the colour of the orb that you've picked up, so you always kind of know what weapon you're packing. If you pick up multiples of the weapon orbs, it increases the power of that weapon up to 3 levels. The weapons are, you've got a standard 3-way gun, a laser and a homing gun that tries to hit the nearest moving thing it can. Now, each of these weapons have their own limited use power up version too, which isn't quite a smart bomb, but it's certainly useful in a tight spot or in a boss fight. So without much in the way of story to talk of, let's dive into some of the ups and downs I personally found in Devil Engine. And the first up is quite a biggie, and that's the gameplay. Like most shoot 'em ups of this ilk, Devil Engine can be a really frustrating experience, but the addiction here is trying to get that little bit further each time. In addition to that classic gameplay style, what Protoculture have added are a couple of twists to that, and the biggest of which is the burst system. And at any time you can press Y or ZR to flash your shield and absorb enemy projectiles, saving you from certain death. This can't be abused though, as there is a short recharge period between uses, but the most important thing to consider is activating your burst kills your all-important multiplier. If you actually absorb enough fire in one burst however, you maintain or even sometimes increase your multiplier, encouraging you to save it for when you're swamped rather than using it to bat away single bullets. It's a really clever risk-reward system, and really the key to both surviving and scoring big. Another up is the progression system, which is quite unique, and I don't think I've ever seen this in any other game. As you rack up game overs, and you will in large quantities, your score in that play gets added to a running all-time score. Now, your accumulated lifetime score is then used to unlock new features in the game, such as new graphical styles, optional cheat features, and even new modes. It's a clever idea and encourages you to keep playing to see what you can unlock next. But this leads me to the first down though, and that there's no online leaderboards. And I'm a real sucker for a game with an online leaderboard and bonus points if it's got separate daily boards or friends boards. But all we have here is a local leaderboard, and you'll fill that up in your first 10 plays. Okay, it's nice to see if you can beat your top score, but for me it's always been about comparing my score to others, and with that missing here, it loses longevity points for me, I'm afraid. Now, talking of longevity, there's a challenge mode here which gets an up, and this is a spin on the normal mode, but you are set goals to achieve, such as completing a level without losing a life, or without an enemy ship going past you. It's a nice bonus, and there looks to be other modes to unlock as well, but I'm afraid my skill at this sort of game is holding me back from unlocking them. And that brings me to my next down, and that's that this game is bloody hard overall. When you first play the game, the default and only difficulty level to select is very hard. If you last more than 30 seconds, you've done well. Thankfully, this is just to show you how the developers want you to play eventually, and this unlocks the very easy mode, which is actually still very hard. I'm sure veterans of these games will enjoy the challenge, but if you're coming in to play casually, your attention may be better served elsewhere. What may be enticing you to try Devil Engine though are the graphics and music, which make my final up. Man, the music in this game rocks so hard, feast your ears on this. Wow, crank that up to 11 and play some air guitar. A lot of this music was made by the same composer as the classic Thunder Force series, and if you close your eyes and just listen, it surely does take you right back to sitting in front of a Sega Mega Drive. That's the feeling I got. Visually, this is a very nice looking game too. As I said, those graphics are very reminiscent of a 32-bit style, though perhaps a little bit too basic in places, especially the bullet artwork for me, which I'm not a fan of. But the lovely parallax scrolling backgrounds and huge bosses are detailed enough to catch your eye. Now I've got one final little down to tack on at the end here, and that's the lack of any real explanation of certain things that are going on in the game. There is a brief tutorial to cover the basics, but other than that you're on your own. There are still elements of the UI that I have absolutely no idea what their use is. So I make that 4 ups and 3 downs, and that sounds about right for this game. In summary, Devil Engine looks and sounds great and provides that classic shoot 'em up challenge hardcore fans of the genre will crave, but it's possibly too frustratingly difficult for newcomers, and a lack of any online leaderboards is a shame, but its unique unlock system does provide some valid reasons to return for repeated play sessions. For me, I'm going to score Devil Engine a very solid 7 out of 10. Well, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider dropping me a like and subscribe if you did below, please. Thanks a lot. I'll have another review going up on Thursday, and on Friday the continuation of my FIFA career mode where we're at Queen's Park Rangers. But until then, I will bid you goodbye. See you later.